Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beltway Book Club. I'm your host, Ellen Meny, and I am so excited to welcome my guest today, Dr. Anna Elton. She is the author of the incredible book, The Formula of Desire. Dr. Elton, Anna, you are not only an author, but you are a doctor, you're a sexologist, you're a researcher. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. So before we dive into the book, which of course I want to know all about, can you tell me a little bit more about what you do and what your background is in this study?
Absolutely. So I'll start with my personal life because it all relates. So I met my husband in high school, so we've been together for 25 years. Long time. We have 3 kids, and that was why I was looking at other couples that come to therapy, and I was wondering what's going on, why so many couples feel so disconnected after just a few years together. And as a couples therapist, I decided to pursue my Ph.D. And when I was looking into Ph.D., I figured out that clinical sexology would be my field to go to because intimacy is number 2 reason actually one couples fight.
Really?
So
Wow.
number 1 is finances, number 2 intimacy, and number 3 it's a tie, parenting, in-laws, and chores, fair share of chores.
Okay, that all makes a lot of sense. Very cool. And so let's then go into your book, The Formula of Desire. So what is it all about?
So one of the reasons why I even looked into this book, when I was working on my dissertation, I was focusing on low desire and mismatched desire in long-term couples. And I remember specifically one client, individual client came in and she was in her 20s and she was about to get married. And she talked about no desire in the relationship, and she was wondering, can she bring it back, that passion, or she needs to settle for passionless marriage, right? And I was thinking to myself, if she's in her 20s, about to get married, about to start this life, what other people can do, who are in 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And I've been working with couples all the way up to 80s who come in and they want to bring that connection back. They want to work on their communication and desire.
Well, I love that you're also covering like a wide variety of ages, because I think people have this notion that people in their 20s, sex is no problem, or people in their 80s, nobody has sex anymore. But that's not true. There are, you can connect throughout life. And so, after you mentioned that, I want to ask, like, through this book, The Formula of Desire, what have you found? Like, why does kind of sex and desire fade in a relationship?
Absolutely. So I'll actually start with the title of the book. So the title of the book is The Formula of Desire, but originally it was The Formula of Relational Desire. So it's desire to be in relationship with your partner. And, when you think about desire, you're automatically thinking about sex, right? So it's desire, sex, all connected. But as I was doing research, I was hearing, especially from women, they would say, I can't be intimate with my partner if I'm not emotionally connected. So before you even think about desire, bringing back that spark, you need to focus on how to communicate to your partner, how to connect to your partner, how to relate to your partner before you become intimate with your partner.
That makes sense. It's that emotional connection, which I know you go into more in the book, and we'll talk about it more. But I mean, what do you hope when people read The Formula of Desire? What do you hope people get from it?
Well, I hope they actually learn the tools how to have a better relationship long term. Because I feel like a lot of people, when they file for divorce, and older generations say, well, younger generation, they just not really fighting for their relationships, they giving up too early. But I think they just simply don't have tools. Because what happens in relationships, they start to quit. It's like work. Relationship,
yes.
right? When you don't feel seen, when you don't feel emotionally connected, when you don't see anything else, anything good coming up in your promotion, right? So same thing happens in relationship. You start quitting, and then at some point you just don't really care, and then you will end the relationship.
Right.
But what's interesting, when I was doing the book, I was also creating the assessment. So that measures the health of the relationship, like a credit score. Because I was thinking, I'm on my phone and I'm measuring my steps, sleep, right?
Right.
We measure our finances, but how about relationship? Can we have something tangible? The reason why I even looked into it, because from 2025 research, what they were saying, that relationship satisfaction is not measured by how long the couple's been together, but not by years, trajectory of the relationship, how close each partner to breaking point to break up. And when you think about yourself, you say like, okay, I'm happy in a relationship, not happy in your relationship. Maybe you can talk for yourself, but you never know about your partner. Because as a therapist, I've been seeing couples coming in and one partner saying, I want to work on a relationship, I want to improve it. Another partner would say, I don't know if this relationship can work out.
Right, right.
And that's where you want to see if one partner is checked out or not when you take a test.
That is a great idea. And yes, I feel like more and more people are talking about getting blindsided by a breakup, but it is true. You really only know yourself. You can't truly know how somebody else feels. But I think your book is a great way to go about doing that. Can you talk more about the assessments
Absolutely.
in the book and how people can interact with them?
Absolutely. So there are two assessments. The first one is the relational desire score. So when you take a test, you will see where you stand. It has 5 tiers. And then if the highest tier, tier 5, is the passionate desire. If you land there, you're doing really, really well. Usually you don't expect it later in a relationship, maybe if you're lucky, or maybe you're not being honest with your answers. So sometimes I've seen that too. Or sometimes I see one partner lands in the higher tier, and then the second partner can be in tier 2 or even 1.
Okay.
That mismatch shows me that one partner is doing really well, their needs are met, but then the partner 2, they're not doing well, and they're closer to the breaking point. So the way I was doing this assessment, I created a framework.
Okay.
One of the frameworks in the book is the relationship shift model. So the way it works, whenever we meet someone, we are in the positive zone of the relationship. Things are good, things are easy, communication is great, intimacy, sex is amazing, right? Everything is easy at that point. And then as you commit to your partner, you can move to the neutral zone of the relationship, which is totally normal. We focus on other things. We focus on careers, parenting, households, and then healthy couples, they go from positive zone to neutral zone and back. That cycle is totally normal.
Okay, yeah.
But what happens if all the disconnection is not addressed? Couples can move to the negative zone of the relationship. And then at that point, even small thing can trigger big response, right? They can snowball into the big fight. So what happens at that point, couples stop really checking in. They talk about logistics. They're not really checking in on each other. And at that point, I hear from my clients that my coworkers know me better than my partner.
Oof. And you don't want to hear that from a partner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then so what happens, think about it, right? When you meet someone, you have a lot of positive interactions, maybe some neutral interactions. But then when you're in negative zone, you have a lot of neutral interactions, which is logistics, what's for dinner, when do we need to pick up kids, or negative interactions. Because at that point, partners notice what's not being done versus being grateful what's going on. What's being done in relationship. And then from that point, it's a really crucial point to either address disconnection and go back to the neutral zone, and then hopefully back to the positive zone, make that full circle, or go down. That's where research shows that you can hit the pre-terminal stage of the relationship and then go from pre-terminal stage to terminal stage of the relationship. It takes about 6 months to 2.3 years.
Wow. I feel like I've gotten smarter by talking to you. Thank you for explaining that. And I think people can learn a lot about relationships from your book. We have to go to break, but when we come back, we will talk much more about the formula of desire. So everyone stay tuned. We will be right back with the Beltway Book Club after this quick break. Welcome back to the Beltway Book Club, everyone. I'm your host, as usual, Ellen Menny, and I'm here with my guest today, Dr. Anna Elton. She is the author of the book, The Formula of Desire. We've been talking about everything to do with intimacy and relationships, sex and relationships, desire. I'm learning so much. In the last segment, we talked a little bit about kind of when people enter that danger zone of a relationship, when they're struggling with desire, with sex, with intimacy. What can couples do when they get in that danger zone, so to speak, to get out of it?
Absolutely. So when they're in that negative zone of the relationship, they find themselves being in the roommate dynamic.
Okay.
And then what happens first, intimacy usually disappears from the relationship. I mean, I just want to say it, I guess, the side note, absolutely. I work with couples who continued with intimacy, but they were not as involved and they were doing it the duty sex, right? And
Okay.
we don't want to have any duty intimacy, right?
Yeah,
We
for
want it
sure.
to have exciting, we want it to be fulfilling for both partners. So what happens if they find themselves, they're not connecting, they're not being intimate, right? They're not communicating. Most of the time they're fighting. They feel triggered, right? The small thing can, bring the big response. So I would say the number one thing you need to do, you need to start with being positive or like
Okay.
find like what's going well. And again, sounds simple, but it's step number one because our brains are usually wired to see what's not going well. So
Right.
for 1 week, just one exercise for 1 week, try to make mental notes what's going well. And again, I'm just thinking like I've been in my relationship for 25 years. I met my husband in high school, right? And one thing he's always been doing for many, many years, he always made coffee, right? He always would set up coffee so I can have my fresh brewed coffee in the morning because I usually wake up early before him, right? And it's something that I took for granted, right? And when I was writing this book, I was thinking, what is going well in my relationship? What can I say thank you to my husband right now? And that was one thing that came up to my mind. So that's where you need to focus on what's going well, make mental notes. And then once you made mental notes, try to say it to your partner because whatever we think affects the way we feel and affects our actions. If we're always thinking that our partners are not doing well, they're not helping out, they're being lazy, or whatever it is, right? It makes us feel certain way and then we come off certain way, right? So that's where we need to change the way we approach the situation and our relationships.
That is, again, I keep on saying it, great advice and so, so true. It's kind of, I like how you mentioned the coffee element as well. It's like the little things, especially, that I think we can remember and thank our partners for. I also wanted to talk about how emotional labor affects this dynamic. It's something that I think society is talking about more and more, but especially for women. How does emotional labor play into desire and intimacy?
Absolutely. So, the cortisol is a stress hormone. It's actually present in small elements early in the early in relationship when we have this excitement, anticipation. It actually helps us to drive that desire, right? But the same cortisol, when it's overloaded, when it's too much, and it comes from constant, taking care of things, running the
Right.
household, emotion labor, right? So at that point, we're focusing on actually running the household and surviving, not on being intimate with our partners. So we need to reduce that emotional labor of the household. And according to research, women actually carry 70% of emotional labor. Which
Do
is
they
interesting.
ever?
Yeah, which is really, really interesting. And
Yeah.
also, according to research, they're more likely to file for divorce than men.
Right. Whew, the statistics do not lie. And so kind of jumping from that, can you talk about desire as it relates to women? Because I know women might experience, I mean, many of us experience desire differently than men.
Absolutely. So there's a couple of topics and frameworks that I have in my book. Let me actually start with three selves model. I think it's important, and then I'll talk about the second part.
Yeah.
So the three selves model, it's when you individual self, you have your hobbies, things that fulfill you, your self-care. And then when you meet your special person, your partner, you create additional persona. It's the couple's persona. And you need to fulfill both. You need to balance both, right? Now you do things as a couple, and you also need to do things for yourself because you just don't want to be too enmeshed with your relationship, right? But then when we have kids, we create additional persona. It's the family persona. And what I've been seeing with a lot of couples, they fulfill family persona, and they think by fulfilling family persona, they by default fulfilling couples persona. But that's a problem because whenever we do something with kids, it's fun, but we always have the hat on of the parent. We don't take it off and put on the hat of the romantic partner.
Right.
And that becomes problematic because at the end of the day, we did a lot of things with our kids as a family, but we never connected romantically with our partners.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely a good thing to remember, especially for moms, I would imagine.
And then the second part is the desire equilibrium. So what is desire equilibrium? So for a lot of women, especially women, again, I've seen it in men, but majority of women would say that like, hey, listen, my desire declined as soon as you become a parent. And
Right.
again, you can think of stress, right? Responsibilities, added responsibilities, hormones, right? A lot of things are going on. And then also for women, if things were working well, going back to the reasons why couples fight, chores, right? So for example, in an early relationship, you divided chores members equally, right? And you know what you're responsible for. Now we have kids, and usually women caring more for kids, right? By default, you're pregnant, you're giving birth, you're breastfeeding. There's a lot of things that women do, and also keeping in mind like what needs to be done. Birthday parties, school supplies. There's just so many things.
Everything,
I was just traveling, and then my husband ended up going to the open house with kids, and I asked him like, "Where's the list?"
Right.
And he's like, "I have no idea." So now I have to do my emotional labor of like reaching out to teachers and actually get it. So I get it, right? There's a lot going on. So for women, what's happening, the first thing that declines is the self-desire. So it's part of the desire equilibrium. Even if their partners find them desirable and attractive, if you don't have the self-desire, it's hard for you to accept that from your partner.
Right.
And how do you start, right? How do you even start the self-desire? I would say give that time to yourself. You can, think of like what you used to do in the past, right? Is it something, maybe even doing makeup? And I was just being interviewed by older podcaster, right? And she was in her 70s, and she said, well, my self-desire, I always started with lipstick. I just put lipstick for myself.
I love that.
That's it. Think of like what brings you that self-desire, doing hair, doing makeup, maybe putting an outfit, maybe even taking a shower, as simple as that.
Right.
Putting the lotion on your legs, right? Doing some skincare, whatever works. But it helps us to feel more connected. And then from research perspective, oxytocin, it's love and bonding hormone. It can be released when we're hugging our partners for 20 seconds or longer, but it does the same thing when we touch ourselves. No sexual touch, just simple touch.
Just physical
connection. Physical, so you're just connecting back with your body and yourself.
So it's like you could literally give yourself a self-hug.
Yeah, it's self-hug, just like little touches, that's it.
I love that. Wow. Okay, we have to go to break, but this is fascinating. Dr. Elton, thank you so much for chatting, and everybody stay tuned. We will be back with more Beltway Book Club after this quick break. Welcome back, everyone, to the Beltway Book Club. I am your host, Ellen Meny, and I've been talking with Dr. Anna Elton. She is the author of The Formula of Desire. I was about to say The Power of Desire for some reason. It is powerful, but you have a formula in mind with your book. We've been talking about kind of navigating a relationship with intimacy and desire, and I wanted to ask you some of the ways that couples can reconnect, some of the exercises couples can do to reignite that.
Absolutely. I would say start with checking in, right? Because I feel like a lot of couples, they do a lot of logistics, but they're not really talking. So back in 1970s, researchers, they found this model. It's the social penetration theory. And again, social penetration theory helps with physical penetration, right? As funny as it sounds. So the way it works, think of the onion, layers of the onion, right? Whenever we meet someone, we start on the outer layer of that onion, right? So we share some simple details about ourselves, our names, what we like, don't like. And then as we get to know someone, we go deeper and deeper and deeper into the core of the onion, right? That's where we share our dreams, our fears, our childhood traumas, everything, right? But what happens as we continue with our relationship, we stop being curious, and we stop asking, we stop communicating, and then we revert back to that outer layer of the relationship. So we really need to start with check-ins at least once in a while. How have you been doing? What's been going on? Talk to me. Tell me more, right? So that's when you schedule and say like 10 minutes, 5 minutes sometimes. And then some of my female clients said that simple exercise helped them to bring desire back and work on that connection. Just checking in, making dinner, just like, hey, how was your day? How have you been doing? What's been new?
Right.
Really helps. So that's the first step.
Okay, yeah.
So the second one, I would say touches, because when you think of desire and connection, we need to do like small things through the day.
Right.
We need to do touches, we need to do flirting, because flirting is something that's usually gone from the relationship first.
Right,
and when I ask my long-term couples, I say like, so have you flirted with your partner? They're like, well, we don't even know how to flirt anymore. So do little things, right? So something, and again, I always like the Legally Blonde bend and snap.
Oh my gosh, the bend and snap, yes. I love it.
So whatever works, just like have fun, right? Because I feel like fun is one thing that every single couple who I interviewed said is missing when they're not doing well in a relationship. So you need to bring fun back into a relationship.
It's the key. I feel like it's one of the keys. People don't think about fun a lot, but it's important.
No, So, and then finally, I would say you need to be intentional with your time as a couple.
Okay.
Because a lot of couples, what they do, they think like, we'll do a date soon, right? A lot of couples that I work with said like, oh, summer's coming, we can definitely do something. And then, we're in August. And then when I asked them, like, so did you guys do anything? Did you go anywhere? They're like, no, we've been busy with kids and, summer and everything.
Right.
So you need to be intentional. Put it on your schedule, like any appointment. Just have it on your schedule, and then be playful with that. So one exercise that I love, 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 it's A through Z date night. So take the alphabet, A through Z, and think of different things that you can do, or something you used to do as a couple. And again, it can be small or big, but something fun. So this novel experience bring back desire into relationship. So A could be axe throwing, arcade, art gallery. B could be bowling, beach walk, burlesque.
Right.
My favorite is M. It's movie and massage.
Oof.
So my husband picks a movie, I get a massage. I pick a movie, I still get a massage.
As you should, as you should. I love this. Dr. Elton, we're running out of time, unfortunately. I hate to cut us short, but if people want to buy your book, how can they do that?
Absolutely. So it's sold on Amazon, Barnes& and Nobles, a lot of small, big local stores. But I think the hub for everything is theformulaofdesire.com.
Okay.
It's the same as the title of the book. So you go on the website, you can take a test, Relational Desire Score, that measures the health of your relationship. You can also take a second test if you're ready for this. It's the currency of desire. It's like love language, but for desire, to make your intimacy more exciting. There's also exercises when we talk about emotional, mental, and emotional load. There's actually exercise where couples can do, and they can see where they are, like who cares more, and then what you can do to adjust it. There's A through Z exercise. It's interactive. You can create your own. There are videos of the frameworks of the book. I also write for Psychology Today, so I have my articles there. So there's a lot of additional information on the website.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Anna Elton, thank you so much for joining me. Everyone, Formula of Desire is out now. And everyone, thank you so much for joining me on the Beltway Book Club. Keep reading, keep writing, and I'll see you next time.